Good morning to you. Thanks so much for being up with us. I'm Gabby Petito. Yeah, I stayed up late watching the Emmys. Ted Lasso.
Wild one. You stayed up late?
Yeah.
Ooh, Stella.
Well,
It's a fun night. I know. It's worth it. So Ted Lasso, yeah, that one did good. It's on my to-do list to get that one done. Mayor of Easttown, another one that we should watch because it won too.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you see the moon? It is shining bright. Let's see.
Move your head. Move over.
I know, right? I gotta move over a bit. There you go. I know. A lot of people, and including me, sometimes I'll look at those sunrise views, and especially before the sunrise, and and then of course the camera changes angles. But I'll look at that full moon and be like, was this locked on a shot from yesterday when the sun was up? Because it looks so bright. That light beams through when we look at our traffic cameras and our mountain cameras. It really provides quite a bit of overnight light. Instead, as we start off now your Monday morning, we've got clear skies, that full moon starting to set now, and then we've got the sun coming up. In turn, clear skies, temperatures mostly in the 50s and 60s. Forecast highs are going to be in the 80s, and we see a warming trend all the way through the first half of the week. Let's take a look at traffic. Not too much going on, just one accident up in Oceanside on these southbound lanes. Doesn't look like, since there is much going on, not much volume on the roads right now, that there are any backups related to it, but there is an accident blocking that 76 on-ramp. Second area to note is going to be along the Coronado Bridge. Looks like there is quite a bit of slowing speeds down to the single digits for the second half of that bridge, as well as once you get into Coronado, we're in the teens for the most part, down to about 11 miles an hour as well. Stella?
Evan, thank you. It is a story that has caught the attention of the entire nation. And this morning, we are staying on top of major developments in the search for a missing woman who vanished during a cross-country trip with her fiancé.
Yeah, this, it's just really heartbreaking here. Investigators believe they may have found the body of 22-year-old Gabby Petito. News 8's Chris Groh is joining us live now to give us the very latest details. Good morning, Chris.
Hey, good morning, Stella and Ned. And sadly, a body matching Gabrielle Petito's description was found yesterday at a campsite in Wyoming. And while we're waiting for full confirmation that it was her, many are still wondering what happened to Gabrielle in the first place.
Full forensic identification has not been completed to confirm 100% that we found Gabby, but her family has been notified of this discovery. The cause of death has not been determined at this time.
And her father confirmed that they did indeed hear from the FBI by posting on Twitter a picture of Gabby with a broken heart and the words, quote, "She touched the world." Now, Gabby's family hadn't heard from her since late last month when she contacted them from Grand Teton National Park. She'd been on a cross-country drive with her fiance, Brian Laundrie, that started in July. In August, a Utah police officer, you see right here, pulled their van over, and in this body cam video, it shows Gabby and Brian in the middle of an emotional argument. Now, Laundrie was alone when he returned from that trip. He arrived at his parents' home in Florida on September 1st and was initially named a person of interest in the case, but has refused to speak to detectives, and now he is missing. As of last week, he has gone missing. Now, Laundrie's family believes he's somewhere inside the Carlton Reserve, a 24,000-acre wildlife refuge in Sarasota County. More than 50 law enforcement officers are looking for him. Stella and Netta.
All right, Chris Groh, thanks so much for being on top of that. And new this morning, Pfizer says its COVID vaccine works for children ages 5 to 11. The company studied a lower dose of its 2-dose vaccine in more than 2,000 kindergartners and elementary school-age kids. They found the kids developed COVID-fighting antibody levels just as strong as teenagers and young adults. Pfizer says it plans to seek authorization for this age group. Again, that's between 5 and 11. They want authorization here in the U.S., and right now the company's vaccine is available for anyone 12 and over. Today was the deadline set by the White House to roll out the booster shots for everyone, but the CDC and FDA still have not given that green light.
So on Friday, an FDA advisory panel voted against recommending the booster for people who received the Pfizer vaccine. They say only the immunocompromised and people over the age of 65 should get a third dose. The FDA will review the committee's recommendation this week, and a CDC advisory committee is also expected to discuss boosters in the next few days. Dr. Anthony Fauci now saying people should not get booster shots until they're approved by the agencies. He talked about the FDA committee's decision. Listen.
I don't think they made a mistake, but the one thing I think people need to realize that data are coming in literally on a daily and weekly basis.
Dr. Fauci also says he anticipates data soon when it comes to booster shots for people who received the Moderna and the Johnson & Johnson vaccines. Meantime, though, a new CDC study found Moderna's COVID vaccine is the most effective against hospitalizations. Researchers say Moderna is 93% effective compared to 88% for Pfizer and 71% for Johnson & Johnson. Now, the study also found Moderna's efficacy lasts longer, only dropping about 1 percentage point after 4 months of being fully vaccinated. However, researchers say all 3 vaccines still provide protection and help keep people out of the hospital.
And today, the city of Del Mar will consider implementing a COVID-19 vaccination requirement for their city employees. City Council will take on this matter at today's meeting. It comes on the heels of Imperial Beach considering a similar plan. That was last week. Now, in that case, the Imperial Beach City Council decided to revisit the issue at a future meeting. Starting today, proof of vaccination or a negative COVID test will now be required across the state if you want to attend indoor events of 1,000 people or more. These new rules were announced last month by state health officials, and they do take effect on this Monday, today. The previous rule included indoor events with 5,000 people or more, and now that threshold falls to 1,000.
The parents of a local 8-year-old boy are warning others about the dangers of COVID after he contracted a rare disease from being exposed to the virus. Eduardo Cortez is being treated at Rady Children's Hospital for what's called multi-system inflammatory syndrome in children, also known as MIS-C. Kids usually develop the potentially deadly disease just a few weeks after being exposed to COVID. Eduardo's parents both got COVID in August. Neither are fully vaccinated.
It's because we don't think that this is not going to happen to us. Now we understand now that this is a wrong decision that we took. It already happened to me, and I don't want to happen to anybody else, especially for the kids.
Eduardo will be released in the next few days. He will continue to be monitored as experts study the long-term effects of MIS-C. Symptoms include fever, rashes, red eyes, as well as neck pain and abdominal pain.
Well, streaming services, they reign supreme. Let's talk about the Emmys, racking in the wins during television's biggest night.
Netflix, The Crown, took home an armload of Emmy awards, including Outstanding Drama Series, Lead Actress, Lead Actor, and Best Supporting Actor, and Actress in Drama Series. The show also took some writing and directing honors. Oh, it was a big night for them. HBO's Hacks and Mara of Easttown also earned top honors for their lead actress, Kate Winslet. Apple TV's Ted Lasso also scored very big. We're going to have more on what you didn't see on TV coming up at 6:30. So I stayed up watching it. Some people were saying when Stephen Colbert won, he was like, thank you, Ted Lasso, for not being nominated in this category.
Yeah, they did pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, you always get every year those kind of shows that just sweep most of those awards, so it makes sense. Stephen Colbert pretty happy that Ted Lasso wasn't in that category. It's a good show, though. Apple TV Plus starting to get those nominations going. 6:08 as we kick off your Monday morning. A happy Monday to you. Here's the view outside. It is pretty mellow to start off your Monday. We have a few clouds along the coastline, patchy clouds, but we aren't seeing quite as much of the marine layer because today through about Wednesday, we're going to be hanging on to offshore flow. So won't be as encouraging for that marine layer to keep those clouds at bay. We're starting off the day with temperatures mostly cooler than where we were at this time yesterday morning. 6 degrees cooler in Del Mar, 5 degrees cooler in El Cajon, and 6 degrees cooler in Alpine. Now, by the afternoon, temperatures are going to rest roughly around average for this time of year. You got 80s inland and across your mountains. Coastline's going to be a little bit cooler in the upper 70s. Plenty of sunshine, but the coastline will be the most likely culprit for some partly cloudy skies. Upper 90s across your deserts. Doesn't look like we'll be making it into the triple digits, though, so a little bit of a cooler trend for today because Tuesday, Wednesday, we are warming. So 90 degrees on Tuesday, 95 for your Wednesday. You see that warming trend today through Wednesday, and then a cooling trend comes on the trailing end of it. So Thursday through your weekend, we start to cool down. We'll hit fall. The official start of the fall season is on Wednesday. Today is your full moon, as you may have noticed if you walked out the door over the last about half hour or so. And by the time we get to Wednesday, the official start of the fall season, we'll start to see those those cooler temperatures then come about for the weekend and next week. Let's talk about traffic. So far, smooth sailing on your roads. Doesn't look like there's much to start off your Monday morning. A lot of green on the screen, but I do want to note an accident on the southbound lanes of the 5. That is as you head on to the 76. Now, right now, it doesn't look like there's much volume on the 5, so we aren't seeing any backups or delays. One spot where we are seeing plenty of volume is, no surprise, the Coronado Bridge. You got backups mid-span down to the single-digit speeds. We're up to about the teens and 11-mile-per-hour range as you head into North Island, so expect a little bit of a delay. Plan some few extra minutes for your commute this morning, but besides that, you're good to go as you start off your Monday morning. Back to you.